Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cooking with Positivity. I am your host, Zykia McCoy. Here at Cooking with Positivity, we like to focus on positivity leading to success, whether that be in your business, in your love life, or your everyday decision making. Happy Monday. I hope your week is off to a great start. We are kicking off this week with reset, reflect, and realignment. Not just with your goals, but with yourself. Because before we build anything, we have to make sure we're grounded. So, our quote for this Monday and this week: growth is not just about what you build, it's about what you protect while you're building. And before we get fully into today's episodes, I got a few reminders, a few, sticky notes, if you will. Supermom competition voting starts today. I will be posting the link everywhere, so please, please, please click the link and vote for me daily. Thanks in advance for all the love and support. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you go back and check out our last week's Book and Bite episode where we made the sweet potato pie smoothie. That's going to connect perfectly with what we're talking about today. And don't forget to play along with our fact or fiction. You should see that post posted up all over social media. We love when you engage with us. We love when you tell us what you know or what you think you know. And even if you don't get it right, you still receive a raffle entry for our Fun Free Friday Positive raffle for joining in and playing with us. Now, this week, from soil to strength, feature is Warren Clay Coleman, who focused on economic empowerment, ownership, and building something that could outlive him. I'm going to say that again. He built something that could outlive him. He believed in creating opportunity, expanding resources, and strengthening the community through ownership. And that's what we talk about here at Cooking with Positivity. Not just growth, but generational growth. I am not only building something that I can leave behind to be known for or for a legacy, but for my children, helping them either expand my legacy or helping them grow and start their own alongside mine. And that is another main part of this week. We're discussing culture. Culture is more than what we celebrate. It's what we protect. It's what we pass down. It's what we preserve. Protect the culture, preserve the flavor. Now, I watch a ton of videos, podcasters, etc., that are often talking about the food that we grew up on, dishes that are leaving, dishes that we forgot about, substituting box recipes to cut corners and losing flavor, things of that nature. And it keeps me instilling certain things in my kids so I can not only pass it down to them, but to my grandkids and my grandkids, and so on and so forth. Because I want certain things to live on past myself. I want certain things to be passed down. I used to say, my family didn't have a lot of traditions, but it's not completely true. Just because they weren't passed down in the traditional sense. Like, my mother didn't sit me down and give me a jewelry box and say, this was your grandmother's. And I'm grateful to still have my grandmother with me today. But what was passed down to me was resilience, my ability to not only cook but write. My mother has writing under her thumb. She has to, because all of her children are blessed with the pen. We all have writing talents, whether it be writing music, poetry, short stories, novels, cookbooks, whatever. We all have that gift in some form or fashion. And we're all intelligent in some form or fashion. We all have that creative bug in some form or fashion. So when it comes to what's passed down, we have certain dishes that my mother cooks that came from her growing up and her learning. She wasn't sat down and taught recipes, so she doesn't write down recipes, but she gives us the gist and she allows us to make it our own. And that's what I'm passing down and instilling in my kids. And one of the dishes is sweet potato pie. And in order to understand and respect the sweet potato pie, we have to know where they come from, right? They come from African agricultural heritage and became a staple in Southern food traditions. Now, the yam is the actual vegetable that is popular in Africa. And when the slaves were migrated here to America, and I use air quotes, and they couldn't find some of the same foods, they came across the sweet potato, which reminded them of the yam so much that they substituted the yam for sweet potatoes. And they prepared it in the same ways with stews, soups, pies, turnovers, baked, grilled, and they were affordable, accessible, and could stretch across multiple meals. Now, that's a stretch your pack, that's survival, that's culture. And if you listened last week's episode, you already know how that still shows up today. With my sweet potato smoothie, well, my sweet potato pie smoothie recipe. And it grows within my love for not only food, but for my heritage, for my upbringing. And that was actually inspired by Martin Luther King Jr. because sweet potato pie is one of his favorite dishes. And at the time, I was going through my detox, so I really could not have sweet potato pie itself. So I transformed it. I pivoted. I created something that I could intake and partake in the culture and the history. Now, food is power. It's about who grows it, who controls it, and who benefits from it. Community farming and shared food knowledge have always been part of survival and now part of rebuilding. Now, let's bring it back to you. Today's reset is about burnout, recovery, emotional detox, setting boundaries, because you cannot build, lead, or grow anything if you are constantly running on empty. Now, we read our award winner book about burnout. It was about a young lady who made it to the position in her job that she wanted, and she thought she was in the right place. She thought, you know, this is what I've been striving for. And when she got there, she suffered extreme burnout. She suffered extreme tear down mentally, emotionally, heck, even physically. And sometimes growths look like doing more, but sometimes growth looks like resting, like resetting, like protecting your peace. And if you have been listening to this podcast for any amount of time, I speak on protecting your peace all the time because that is very important, especially nowadays with everyone either seeking validation, seeking guidance, and seeking control over their circumstance. You have to use your discernment to protect your own peace so you can be able to show up for others if that's what you like to do. I'm one of those people. I lend myself to others. But it comes to a certain point where I have to make sure that I am good before I am pouring into someone else's cup, because healthy leadership requires a healthy foundation. And cooking with positivity, my cooking with positivity family, you guys require that. And moving on, being that it is Poetry Month, I'm excited to let you guys know, if you listened last week on that same Book and Bite episode, you heard my poem Dreamers Win. And if you listen on Thursday, you heard Poetically Enigmatic's poem Knock. These are the two poems that will be featured this Thursday for our Verses and Vibes Poetry Exchange session. I'll try to say that 10 times fast. So make sure you guys tune in. It's going to be a space for expression, creativity, and connection. And I'm super excited for it. It's always good to have a good, mind meld session and get other thoughts and perspectives on your work. It's not criticism, it's not competition, it's not comparison. It's a creative exchange. And we love that here. Now, it's time for our weekly affirmation. I am allowed to grow at my own pace. I protect my energy, my purpose, and my peace. What I am building is rooted, intentional, and lasting. I'm going to say that again. I am allowed to grow at my own pace. I protect my energy, my purpose, and my peace. What I am building is rooted, intentional, and lasting. I want you to say that to yourself in the mirror. I want you to say that to yourself while you're walking. I want you to say that to yourself while you're exercising. I want you to say that to yourself while you're cooking dinner. I want you to say that to yourself while you're brushing your teeth. I know it may be difficult, but you can do it. I believe in you. I want you to say it, know it, believe it, and affirm it. And I want you to ask yourself this week, what am I building? What am I protecting? What do I need to preserve so I can grow? Because everything doesn't need to be rushed, but everything does need to be rooted. And I want to thank you guys for tapping in. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for our live Talkin'Ish on YouTube. We're going to pray that everything goes technically correct and we are able to do it flawlessly. And please share, share, share. Tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend. Help us spread this positive movement. And until tomorrow, I hope everybody has a great and positive rest of their day and a great and positive rest of your week.